right, welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. Larry Krueger, Ryan Coccimilgio, Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio. We're off and running. Giants get a break. Wow, they got a break tonight. Gustave supposedly had a balk. I don't know, man. I don't know. That didn't look like a balk to me. But I'll take it. We'll take it. Absolutely, we'll take it. Giants get the win. Darren Ruff goes yard. Austin Slater made a bad play in center field that led to a run that tied the game, and the balk was the difference. And then Dominic Leone. Dominic Leone. Partners calling him Leone, but AJ Pierzynski, calling him Leone. Yeah. That was AJ Pierzynski. Oh my God. Learn the names, bro. And then I don't know. Here's the one that got me. Danny caught it. I caught it. Danny didn't catch it. I was wondering if you caught it, right. I don't know how much you were watching this game.
Oh, I was.
But at one point, AJ Pierzynski was like, God damn. And then he's like, God darn. It's like, dude, you said it. You said it on network television. You said the GD.
And there's
the
a
whole thing.
Ball to left field, Nick Castellanos.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe Pierzynski is coming to the end of his rope nationally. But this was the national TV game on Fox. The Giants and the Brewers. Giants get the walk-off win last night. And if you're sitting there going, man, last night was awesome. Last night was, man, you don't see that every night. Well, guess what? I actually looked this up. The last time the Giants won on a walk-off grand slam, Bobby Bonds, September 3rd, 1973 against the Dodgers. I was 3. I was 3 years old.
I remember the game well. I was 12.
I mean, seriously, I was 3 years old the last time that happened. And now here I am, 4 kids and, I'm in my early 50s and it happens again. I mean, it just goes to show. I mean, you just never know in baseball. And there were no indications of that last night. They were dead as hell. And then suddenly, boom, boom, boom. Yaz up with the bags loaded. He goes deep to center and the Giants win. So, they get the win. They get the momentum. They carry that momentum into today. They had a 1-0 lead, and they get out of town, or they get out of the game with a 2-1 win. So, Leone, either way, he finished it at the end. What did you guys think of the game?
Well, first of all, I got to say from yesterday, you know how baseball, it's like people love to pick really obscure stats and say, oh, it's the first time ever since blah, blah, blah. Definitely a pretty obscure thing, a stat, but still baseball is 100 years old. It was the first time ever that a team hit 3 home runs, 3 home runs in the bottom of the 9th, including a grand slam to walk it off. First time ever. So, wow. Kind of cool.
Yeah, crazy. And Hader's ERA jumped from 2.9 to 4.5 or something like that after last night.
Yeah. Also, people were, a little bit like, well, Hader is not quite Hader. He just gave up a bunch. He was 28 out of 29 on save opportunities. So that was pretty darn impressive.
Mark Graves in the chat says, right, did you just get out of the shower?
Facts. I actually, a little short story here. So I have an electric bike. And the keys to unlock the battery and the locks and all of that stuff, I left in LA, and I've been pestering my friends who I left it at a party and to FedEx me down the keys. They finally did it. I got dropped off at about bottom of the 7. I'm listening to it on the radio, dropped off at my mom's house. And then so I've been on the full sprint in the heat on my bike, listening to the game to get back here just in time. Got here back just in time, then hopped in the shower. And you know that effect where when you're really hot and heated, you're just super hot and you're sweaty, and then you take a shower and you get out and it feels like you're in Florida, still and it's just that
still sweaty
kind of shower. So that's the situation I'm going in. I'm just unabashedly rocking the towel around the neck.
There you go. It was a rough game for you.
Yeah,
I thought the game was, it was an interesting game because Cobb was dealing. I mean, he was
The Giants give him no run support at all.
No,
did you hear that?
He
like
got
5 runs he's gotten in run support, and
they're gonna have to change the cane to cobbed. You got cobbed,
right?
I mean, but I liked how Gabe did pull him because he gave up 2 fly balls and he was getting ground balls all day. It's interesting because when
they say like and Gabe and move in the same sentence,
I give I'll shred and I'll give credit when it's due, and I thought I thought it was a good time to pull him. It was in the 8th. He'd given up the long fly ball to center that Slater misplayed, and then the sack fly was interesting because had Gonzalez been able to catch that and get set right away, I think he could have nailed him because he's got a rocket arm, But he was running. He was on the move, and those 2 extra steps, and he couldn't get a really good, solid throw off. But, hey, everything was there to set up for the balk. What a balk.
Was it a balk or was it not a balk?
No, it wouldn't. I wouldn't have called that a balk because there was no deception.
What was the call? Was it that he went to step off the rubber and didn't get his foot all the way off the rubber? Is that
they said he turned his head or something?
Yeah, they were talking about him turning his head. I mean, I was just listening
they
to
deem
it.
that as trying to deceive the runner, I guess.
Yeah,
I was listening to it, and they were hating pretty hard.
I would have been, really ripped if that was the call.
Can you imagine losing the World Series that way?
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
I mean, you'd be talking. Isn't it interesting? I always find baseball so interesting because the same thing that, like, in a game like today, we'll talk about for a few minutes and then move on. They'll be talking about like it's lore for decades to come if that happened in the playoffs of the World Series.
Oh yeah,
right, God forbid that decided a World Series, but it just shows you that every 90 feet is magnified in October. It's what makes postseason baseball so incredible. But I didn't see a balk there at all, man. And if I were a Brewers fan, I'd be hot. Oh, yeah, I'm surprised nobody ran out there to argue it.
Yeah, this is because it's not an arguable call, and so. It was.
I don't care. I'd get ejected then. Yeah. Let me get ejected. I want an explanation.
Aaron Boone would have been ejected. He would have come out and got it. He would have got his 2 cents in. That's what I like about Boone, the passion. Just how many times has he been thrown out? I bet the over/under, with Boone, I'll bet you Kapler will never catch. If Boone stopped managing today and Kapler managed another 30 years, I don't think he'd catch Boone and getting thrown out because Gabe just is – hey, what was that? Bob? Okay.
Is that Jay Hutch or is it
Jay Cap?
Yeah, Danny, okay. Danny's got a thing for Kapler at this point.
Yeah, I've been kind of on him, but I mean, hey, I'll give him credit. He didn't do any. I didn't see any bonehead moves today. He left the guys in there. He left Bart in there, and it paid off.
How about Joey Bart with that not nailing Jonathan Davis at third on just a perfect throw?
Loved it.
Perfect tag by Longoria too.
I love the fact that Bart was able to throw it off of his knee on a strike, and then he got fired up. It's just we're seeing some mojo come out of Joey, and I like it because I think. If he gets his confidence, there's no telling that this guy. I mean, remember Buster was the leader, right? And he was the 5th overall pick. Joey was the number 2 pick in the entire draft. If he starts hitting and raking,
you're saying he should be twice the leader.
No, I'm just saying he could become the leader. I think he could become the real leader of the team as it moves forward. Right now, he said something in the dugout last night. He was talking to Casale, and he said, I'm a young guy. I don't have haven't earned the right to, sort of be the loud, the spokesman. But I think as this team grows and over the next year or two, I mean, you said it this week. You'd hate to see Bart get traded because of that power. I
think they'll regret it. I think if he ever figures it out that, if you trade Matt Williams, you're going to regret it. And this guy's got Matt Williams kind of power. I mean, there's pop, there's power, and then there's what this guy's got. This guy's the balls. This guy's got light tower power. This guy. There's no park in the big leagues that contains the blasts off the bat of Joey Bart. I mean, he's just got unbelievable power.
Absolutely.
James Foster, let me just read this. James Foster donates $4.99. He says, thoughts on Joey Bart's leadership. Yaz shouted him out last night. He showed some fire and toughness in the ninth. You guys got a thought on Bart becoming a leader? Danny kind of started it.
I just think he's got it in him, and he just needs to gain the confidence, and that once he gets that confidence and that he's really the catcher is the leader on the diamond. So once that guy gets that confidence, he can become the leader of the team. And I'm telling you, Bart, I've seen this guy for 3 years down here in Arizona. When he's playing at his best or hitting at his best, he's hitting to right center with power. And we haven't even really seen that yet. He's turning on the ball now to left. Once they start pitching him outside, because they'll adjust because they think he's, pulling the ball. If he goes to the right and doesn't try to pull it, that's when you know that Joey's on his game.
Well, and what I got to say is, he didn't have a monster slam today, but what I like to see from him is just the fact that he caught a great game today, and that's another thing that's been overlooked is he's a really great defensive catcher from what I'm seeing, and I don't. One of the things that really annoys me about the Kapler, platooning situation is I don't like how he's constantly shifting around the catchers. I like that Bart. I like the idea of Bart just if he can, keep hitting like this and just kind of secure his spot as like the guy, the catcher. Gain chemistry with everybody on the mound, and it's great to see a game like today where he didn't get any hits, but. He made a huge impact behind the plate. He blocked some huge balls, took one off the neck.
Saw that.
Yeah. So
I think you're right on because there's it's one thing to platoon a bunch of guys. Okay. And in this situation, you could argue that's maybe Cap's best maneuver, but I agree with you wholeheartedly, right? I think that when you start platooning your catcher, and you don't have a true number one, I think it gives your team kind of a chaotic feel to it. And I don't think that's good. I think it's better to go with, establish one catcher and then go with that guy as your starter, play him 5 days a week, play the other guy once a week, twice
I'd go with
a week.
him tomorrow too, because you got 4 days off or 3 days off after. He's 24 years old. It's a day game still. He's got almost 20 hours to rest up. Put him back out there tomorrow, and wins is a backup. And Tony D said something here in the chat, something about what did he say? Something about 7 days ago, Bart is a bust, trade his ass. Today, Bart may be a Posey-like leader. He has huge power, laughing my ass off. I don't think any of us on this show ever said trade Joey. We were always saying send him down, get him right.
There was a dusting of trade. Remember at the beginning of the year, it was like, who can we find? What just professional catchers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. But I think when we really
Danny, you had him going to the Cubs for Wilson Contreras about 7 different times on tape.
Well, if I was able to sign Contreras and do that, I would
still do it.
I'd probably still do that. But Bart, he can be a guy that can be a really good player. I just think that he needed to be sent down, and who knows, he may go back into that funk. Baseball's a weird sport where guys are up and down.
That on him, Danny.
I don't want to put that on. I'm just saying Matt Williams was a couple times up and down his first year or two.
Do not put the hex on Joey Bart, or Graves will mute you.
Yeah.
Look how close Danny was.
It's one thing to bring your bad TV dinners into the mix, but do not start running down.
You want me to bring those back out again tonight?
Do not start running down Joey Bart. MF, by the way, is fascinated with the imaging of vomiting up a New York style Italian sausage. He makes reference to it constantly. Now he's in the chat donating $1.99. I kept down some spicy Italian sausages tonight.
Oh, sorry, right. Tony D. That was Nick J. that said that about Bart, not Tony. I
gotta say, I'd laugh with you, but I'm it's to me, it's like kind of like an old joke at this point. I've seen it so many times, but we do appreciate the donation of $1.99. MF.
Yeah, check out my new shirt that I picked up on the walking from Red Java House to the ballpark last week. I picked up a new Posey t-shirt. Check this out. This is a nice.
Let's see. Nice.
And then down here, it's got a bunch of things about what he's all of his accomplishments. Rookie of the year, 2-time comeback player of the year.
Now, Danny, did you just go and pick out your size, or did you literally take your shirt off and try that shirt on and then
I just picked up the size? Look
Okay.
at that, the back.
All right.
Look at that.
Oh, it's got a little number.
Thanks.
What does it say on the bottom?
Thanks for
Does it say realmoney.com?
Thanks for the memories.
Oh, thanks for the memories. That's awesome.
Wait, look how close Danny was with his lineup. I think we got to give him some props. This is about as close as you can get.
Danny's now filling out an alternative lineup to Gabe.
Yeah.
Doesn't that
the only thing that threw me off.
Doesn't that confuse the players?
I mean, seriously, he got every single player right except for no Yaz. And Longoria threw him off a little bit, but like Gonzo and Bard are about where they are. Villar, he got right. Mercedes, he was off by 1. Slater in center. Yeah, Flores and it was a pretty good lineup.
This is so bad. Look at Tony. Hey, we want some Posey. Oh, that ain't right.
Hey, I do like one of the things I thought about during the game. I do like the fact that they're playing VR every day to see what he can do for him. And the guy's he's getting on base. How many times he walked today?
He's
3
giving me a
times?
professional at bat. Ranger 44 says Dan still has that chicken meal crap left. I threw in the crap. Yeah, people know you got beef and you got chicken. And last
chicken
night
meal,
was
not chicken. It's chicken meal, kind of like in the dog food. You look on the back of the bag. It says it's not
ass in
real
a box.
chicken.
Let's be honest. It's ass in a box.
Chicken flavored ass.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's bad. Mark Gray says $5 shirt from the street guys, or did you go into the shop? And are you is this like official Giants gear? Was this a street vendor, Danny?
Oh yeah,
street
vendor.
$15.
$15.
$15. Look at
I
you.
will say that's an indicator. I remember being, when you're 12 years old, and I that was my favorite thing, is going to the ballpark and just getting to go by the street vendors, getting all sorts of Panda gear.
You guys got to see the sweatshirt it got for $20.
Let's see it. Go get it.
Let me go grab it. It was. That doesn't fit me. It's a medium. That's all they had. It was the last one.
Wait, you bought a sweatshirt that didn't fit?
Well, I let my wife wear it because she had a sweatshirt. Then she's small, and she put the sweatshirt over another sweatshirt because she was freezing on Monday and Tuesday night. So
all right, let's see your wife's
$20 sweatshirt. And it's thick. Let me go grab it.
All right.
But Lair, you know what I mean? That's one thing with this team is who. We had the giraffe thing going for a little bit. We had the panda. Who's bringing the merch? Who are the street vendors? Who are they selling? It looks like they're selling a little bit of Memory Lane, a little bit of Posey.
Yeah, I mean there's probably some giraffe stuff out there for Belt, and there's probably some Posey memorabilia. I would imagine maybe they'll get some Will Clark stuff with his number going to be retired. Other than that, I mean, they're looking for a new, they're looking for a new player to come in to maybe Joey Bart with some, do the play on Bart, maybe you'll do something with that. I could see that being popular because Joey's going to be a big time home run guy. You would think someday.
For sure. I mean, somebody in the chat said yesterday that if you extrapolate out, he's on pace for 30. Also, another thing, how about the crowd today? That was the best crowd we've had in a while.
They draw well on the weekends. They just don't draw well during the week.
It was loud. I couldn't tell if it was kind of the Fox, maybe they're doing a little something, but
it's Hawaiian shirt night. What do you guys think of the Hawaiian shirts they gave away?
Oh, I like those. I had a guy that buys tickets from me. He specifically went today because they're going to Hawaii and they wanted to get these shirts.
Really? He bought the tickets today to get the free Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, he said he's getting ready to go to Hawaii soon, and they wanted these shirts. So,
hey, I'm going to pull a bit of a Danny here with the phone, but I took a screenshot because this is from the broadcast. I mean, look how that's pretty full.
Yeah.
Compared to they pack it in on the weekends. Friday night, Saturday nights were popular. Sunday day, it's just those weeknights because nobody's coming into the city. They're not working in the city, and so you got less people working in the city. So I think that's really what it's all about.
Hammy to go get this sweatshirt. I want you to know that. So
you pulled a hammy?
Almost, because I got a single car garage in this place and it's tight.
Nick J says great weather in the city today. I was at Chrissy Field. Let's see it.
All right,
Let's see that.
so here's the sweatshirt. Okay, I feel like I'm like the Home Shopping Club or something.
Seriously, I stumbled onto a home shopping thing the other night.
Yeah,
it was called Christmas in July. And these people were talking about, like, they were trying to create urgency to buy a Christmas tree right now. I mean, you want to talk about a tough sell? Try to create urgency for someone to buy a Christmas tree, right around the 4th of July.
Check the thickness of this thing out, man. This is thick. This is really
Look at
thick.
that. Oh, yeah.
And it's embroidered, fully embroidered.
How much was that?
Thick.
$20.
$20. The material alone would cost you more than $20.
This thing is thick. I'm telling you.
It's like 3 or 4 C's.
This is like $65, $75 in the
Did you
dugout
tip at all?
store.
This might be hot.
Renegade outerwear sportswear.
It might have been stolen.
It had the tag on it, and you have to pull the little thing.
I bet it did.
But hey, it was
Might have been stolen.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll take it.
Check the serial number on that bad boy.
Check this out, though. Fully embroidered.
Reversible?
No, embroidered.
Look at that.
Not a patch. Not a patch.
It's not a press-on thing. Somebody spent some time on that bad boy.
Yeah, it's like $20, man. I'm going to see if I can get myself back into that.
Deal. Look at you. I hope you tipped.
No, I paid him on Venmo, and he charged me $2 extra. So maybe he took a tip himself.
Oh, there you go.
So $22.
He recognized you. Said, "Hey, this guy's securemoney.com on the web. I can charge him a couple extra bones."
So hey, let's. The game was fantastic. The Giants are, as Ryan said, they've already got their 6 right now, right? Brian?
Yeah.
Ryan?
Are you calling back to when we said they have to win 6 games for us to be?
Yeah, and you counted San Diego one of them.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's Jason Alexander, probably not the guy who plays George from Seinfeld, but going up against Logan Webb.
Yeah, if we can win. I remember I was hoping. I was like not predicting it, but I was saying if they can, after Thursday night's loss, if they can close it out with 3.
Dan likes them thick.
That's right. Like my wait. Let's. Was that
Mercedes,
I think we were going to get a Pasquale. We almost got a Pasquale
sponsorship. What's that?
We almost got a Pasquale. I thought Rye was going to hit the Pasquale.
Nick J. Street vendors with Venmo. Nice way to get hacked. What did you put in the message? When you put in Venmo, it's like you got to put a message in there. Did you put street vendor gear, or did you say, "Hey man, that was thick sweatshirt, high quality gear"? What was your notes?
I don't know. I got to check my Venmo.
Maybe an emoji. I can see. Do you use a lot of emojis?
No.
Hopefully, you didn't enter your credit card into the note.
Yeah, no, it's just got my account linked, my bank.
Yeah, your social.
Yeah, exactly. This is my social security number and hers.
I love that the street vendors nowadays are taking Venmo. Like in LA now, you go to a taco truck, you don't have to trip about cash. These guys take Venmo.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
And check this dude's name out. Oh, Giants hoodie. There it is. For $22. Is it showing up?
What are you hiding from us?
I don't want my account stuff on there.
Xavier McCullough.
Maybe just don't show us at all.
Yeah.
Xavier
trying to put your finger over it.
Xavier McKilliffe. And then I got another one. Ron Lyon. What did I get from him?
Tony D. Stolen Giants gear.
Oh, hey, we took a bike ride. Those little bikes that they on the street?
The ones that the Metro bikes?
No, you sit there and the guy pedals you to the park.
Oh, that's old school.
Oh, you mean you didn't get a ticket? That's not a bike ride, Dan. That's called a cab, I believe.
Well, yeah, but you sit. He's riding a little. He's
doing all the work, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, this beautiful scenery here."
Yeah. I normally just walk, but we were kind of running late.
Can I tell you?
I didn't want to miss the first pitch.
The Bird scooters really market corrected those guys.
Can I tell you my favorite story from New Orleans riding in one of those things?
Yes.
All right. I get in a drunken stupor. All right. It's like 4:00 in the morning in the French Quarter, Super Bowl week. I'm down there with my buddy Chris Townsend. Townie and I get separated. It's 4:00 in the morning. And I'm sitting there going, man, what am I going to do?
You're lucky you're
Christ.
still around at 4:00 in the morning.
But it's French Quarter. It was just still going on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like 4:00 in the morning in San Francisco.
Wasn't the Ninth Ward in New Orleans?
It was the French Quarter. I mean, there's still a lot of people walking around drinking cocktails. They're still serving drinks, I believe, at that time. Anyway, so I'm walking around the French Quarter. My hotel's like 3 miles from there. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't walk it. So I see one of these guys on the bike, with the double back seat. He's like, hey man, you need a ride? And I reach down in my pocket. I got $10. I go, man, I only got $10 on me. And he's like, no problem, man. Where are you going? I go, no problem. I haven't even told you where I'm going yet. You're going to do it for $10? And so I tell the guy I only got $10 because it was true. And then he's like, man, you look like you've had a rough night. I go, well, it's New Orleans. I've been drinking all night. What do you probably start drinking at 5:00? It's 4:00 in the morning. He's like, hey, have you ever gotten a beignet? And a beignet are like these donuts, these little square donuts that they make in New Orleans. And they give it to you in like a box that's just, it's like the entire thing's powdered sugar. Like they're giving you like your powdered sugar to donut ratio is like you have about 150,000 times more powdered sugar than you'd ever need on these 2 donuts. So he's like, oh man, I'll bring you to Cafe Du Monde or something like that. And you can pick up these. And I go, dude, I told you I only have $10. He goes, how about this? They're so good. I'll pick it up. I'll split it with you. I'll give you one. I'll take one. And I'll still only charge you $10 for the ride back. I'm like, all right, deal. Now we're going to split a bag of donuts. So we start driving and the wind is kicking up a little bit and it's 4:00 in the morning and it starts to drizzle, right? It starts to drizzle. We get to the donut place. He runs in. He comes out, hands me a bag. But he's got 2 bags in his hands. He's got one that he's got, and then one for me. I reach into the bag. As I said, the bag was like literally half full with powdered sugar. I mean, I've never seen so much powdered sugar in my life. And the square donuts on the bottom. And so he eats his. I'm eating mine. We're pedaling along, and it's starting to rain a little bit. And we get to the hotel and he turns around and says, all right, that's $10. And he looks at me and he kind of double takes like, whoa, and I'm like, what's he looking at? I know I was looking like S, but I mean, come on, what are you looking at? So he just takes the $10, says goodnight. I say, thank you. It was a delicious donut. It was a nice ride. Thank you very much. Now I'm walking into the hotel. There's a flight crew, like a pilot and two stewardesses walking out of the hotel. And they look at me and then do a double take on me. Like they look up, they look at me, then they look again. I'm like, I must look like S, right? So I go into the lobby of the hotel. I get in the elevator. Somebody else is getting in the elevator, which is shocking to me because it's 4:00 in the morning. They look over at me. Same thing happens. They look at me and then like do a double take. So I go, oh my God, I don't know what the heck's going on. I get into my hotel room. I close the door. I look into the mirror. Dude, it was unbelievable. Between the wind from being on the back of this thing, the rain coming down, the powdered sugar avalanche that was surrounding this donut, it looked like a bomb, like a powdered sugar bomb had gone off. I had powdered sugar all up in my hair. I had a blue shirt. It was all on my shirt. It just looked like a powdered sugar bomb went off. And
they're like, hey, how'd the homeless get into this hotel?
I was like, what the? I'm like, oh my God. Anyway.
No, don't worry.
I'll tell you a short story.
I just split an 8-ball of powdered sugar with my my
it just looked like I had some bad cocaine episode and ran from the police or something. Oh, it's just awful. Just an awful thing.
So hey, what's the big news of the day? We talked about it a month ago. You guys kind of gave me a hard time when I said Soto's going to get dealt this year, and you said Juan Soto ain't getting traded. I says, well, if the Nationals are going to offer him one more hike and see if he takes it. And if he doesn't take it, They're going to put him on the market because they know he isn't going to sign, and that's what looks like it's happening.
How about that? This guy has turned down so much cash.
$40 million.
I guess I got to ask, what does he want? I mean, he was offered 15-year deal for $440 million.
I think he just wants out of the
largest contract in the history of the game.
I think he just wants out of.
He
DC.
Also declined a 13-year, $350 million offer prior to the lockout. He's eligible to be a free agent after next
24.
season.
No, after 24.
After 24. So two more seasons. Two more seasons. The baseball trade deadline is just over 2 weeks away. And there's a lot of speculation. His agent, Scott Boras, you better get ready to pay this guy north of $30 million per year if you're going to trade for him. He's a 23-year-old genius of a left-handed power hitter.
Be perfect for the organization.
And
Absolutely
he's available according to reports. The question is, what's he worth? What is any one player worth? What would it take to acquire him? I mean, do the Giants have enough to acquire him?
Yes.
I would say you would have to start your offer. The offer would have to start with your top two prospects. Marco Luciano would have to be in the deal. Kyle Harrison almost assuredly would have to be in the deal. So that's where you start your offer. But then you're going to probably have to throw 3 or 4 other guys in addition to your 2 top prospects.
It depends on what the Nationals really want, because there's a couple of options you could go. If they really want to go prospects and want the best package of prospects to rebuild what they're going through, then you're going to have to give up several prospects. But there's another alternative. If they want to get rid of, Lerner's trying to sell the club, and he's got Steven Strasburg on till 26. And in 26, 24, 25, 26, I think he's paying like $35 million a year. And the guy's not even really pitching. And then you got Patrick Corbin, who's got 2 years left, and he's getting paid close to $25 million a year. So
what you're saying your game plan is to take some bad money off their hands.
Take both of those guys' money.
Both. How much is that? What's the commitment there? Look that up on COTS. I bet you that's $100 million.
No, between the two of per season or long term.
Period. If you take on
well over 100.
It's well over 100
for both of them, because Strasburg is still signed through 26. But
what's Strasburg's physical condition?
Not great right now. He hasn't pitched recently, and he's got some other issue going on. But let me pull up COTS.
I don't know if they're going to hand over Soto. And, are they that desperate to offload the cash?
Well, it depends. If Lerner says, look, I want to sell my club, and it's going to be tough for someone to buy it because of these, contracts that are lingering and weighing the club down, Giants could take those, could possibly take Strasburg and Corbin and turn them into decent pitchers again. And then you might only have to give up, maybe like a Hunter Bishop and a Lamont Wade and a Sean Jelly. And if you took two of those, I'm saying if you took two of their worst contracts,
then seriously,
but if they don't
do it,
absolutely.
Oh my God, that would be the unbelievable trade of all time. It's funny you said this, because I was just thinking about something along these lines, not involving Soto. What I was thinking is I was reading this article on trades and all the guys that are out there and who's available and who's not available and all the different ways they categorize these players. Well, it's pretty clear that the Padres have Eric Hosmer, and they'd love to get out from underneath that contract. Padres, by the way, are considered the favorite to add Soto.
I hear that.
Really?
Padres are the favorite.
What's the report on that?
Well, they want an outfielder, and but they see. My whole thing is, I'd want Soto too, but I'll tell you this: I would take Will Myers and Eric Hosmer's salary to get one of the Padres' top players, and they have Robert Hassel, the young left-handed hitting outfielder who's a stud. They also have Luis Campusano. a catcher who's hitting over 300 at AAA, who's probably ready to roll. I mean, if you're looking to upgrade your catching, would you take on Hosmer, who only, I believe, Will Myers is a free agent at the end of the year. He makes like $7.5 million. But for the Giants, I mean, Will Myers owns that ballpark and he plays exceptionally well. Hosmer got off to a great start in April. He's been cold ever since, and you'd have to pay him a lot of money this year, next year. But you could DH Belt. You could play Hosmer at first. He's a good defensive player. In some ways, I think his line drive bat's made for the park. If you could take Will Myers and Hosmer off the Padres' hands and get, one of their top prospects for taking on all their money, I'd be interested in that as well. But as far as Soto goes,
I mean, it depends.
I just think you're going to have to try. I think you might have to do both, to be honest. I think there's you might have to take on a bad contract and give them 5 or 6 great, terrific players. You might have to give them top 10 guys.
I think it's one of the. I don't think it's. If you took on both of those bad,
he's a 23-year-old future Hall of Famer,
right? But if you took both of those contracts and you still gave up, maybe a Bishop and a Ramos or something,
that's
like
nothing.
That, exactly. But if they don't take on contracts,
I don't think you can get Soto for nothing. I think you're going to have to give. I think you're going to have to do both. I think you're going to have to trade Luciano and Harrison and take on a bad contract to get that deal done. And then the question is, Bud Fatty says he wants to play for the Giants. Actually, he says he wants to play for the Gants, but I'm pretty sure he meant Giants. Is that true? Does he want to play for the Giants?
Nah, I mean, there's just rumors because of the whole Crawford thing. So I've been searching around online. It looks like the teams that are in contention are the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, Padres, and Giants.
Right.
Wow. I mean, there you go. Romo 2001 donates $5. He says, my concern is given a prospects and Soto walks at the end of the year.
Can't walk at the end of the year, though.
He's got 2 years.
He's got two
more
years.
full years. He's got not only can't walk at the end of this year, he can't walk at the end of next year. You've got all of 23 and all of 24. He says, I don't trust Scott Boras in the offseason. Possibility Soto signs elsewhere. Well, I agree. It's a nightmare for the Giants if they traded Luciano and Harrison for a guy who walked and free agency. That would be painful for sure. But you know what? I just think the Giants are uniquely positioned. Why? Because they're rich as a team, so they can afford any contract. And anybody who tells you otherwise, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. The Giants are rich, and they can afford any contract they want. And that's the truth. They might be one of the richest teams in all of baseball. They own their park. They own it into the future. They're developing the eastern waterfront of San Francisco all the way from the ballpark to Candlestick over the next 4 decades. The Giants are rich. Their sons and daughters are rich. Their grandsons and granddaughters are rich. Their great-grandsons and great-granddaughters are rich. Everybody associated with any stake of ownership in the Giants franchise is, for going forward, officially will be defined as rich. They're rich. They're incredibly rich.
MF says, don't trade Von Brown. Let me tell you, MF.
Brown.
Can you imagine? If the deal is contingent, if Washington says, we don't get this deal done unless you throw in Von Brown, Brown is gone, plus his mother and father and his kids, if he has any future kids, grandkids, they're all traded.
Heck, if they don't include him in the trade, and part of the conditions of the trade are that Soto doesn't want Von Brown to be called Von Brown, we will call Von Brown something else going forward. Right? If Soto says, you know what, I'm coming to San Francisco, but I'd like Von Brown to be, I don't know, go by Vinny Brown. We'll be calling him Vinny Brown going forward.
We'll call him Vinny Leone.
I mean, well, it's Soto's call. Like Mark Graves controls Danny's mic, Soto controls Von Brown's name. No, but I mean, seriously, no more. Let's be realistic.
There's no untouchables for Juan
there's
Soto.
no untouchables. There's people like, oh, Harrison's a deal breaker. What? What? Nobody's a deal breaker. Nobody's a deal breaker when it comes to Soto.
I mean, Soto,
literally nobody. You can have anybody you want. You want Farhan? Take him. you want Gabe and the manicured beard? You got him. You want the upper deck at maybe not the upper deck, but maybe if you want the the that third deck in between the upper deck and the you got it.
How about a lifetime supply of crab sandwiches?
Heck,
You got
we'll throw in not a lifetime; those are too expensive. But we'll throw in a crab sandwich. How about that?
in one of my seats.
And one of Danny's seats. Heck, I mean, you can replace the slide with a new contraption inside the Coke bottle. I mean, you have total ownership of the team if you.
Okay,
but I mean,
Von Brown is a stud, Carlo P. I'm going to put an over under. I don't want to destroy the guy's career, but the odds are that
watch Von Brown be like some awesome Hall of Famer, and this is like a soundbite from hell.
785 home runs.
This is Coccimilgio, Larry Krueger, and Ryan Smith talk down the great Von Brown, who we know today is better than Ruth, Aaron, Mays. He is undoubtedly the greatest baseball player who ever played. Danny, Ryan, and Larry were on record as saying that they would trade him.
No, and
that's probably our luck right now. Von Brown would turn into like Trish Speaker.
Listen to this, guys. Von Brown. I mean, Von Brown. He's ripping it up in high A or whatever. He's at like 340. Von Brown is in high A, ripping it up. He is 1 year older than Juan Soto.
Exactly.
Exactly.
2 years younger than Joey Bart. Juan Soto.
And how many home runs does Juan Soto have in his career so far? Over 150, I bet.
If Farhan really empties the bag and says, I'll overpay for this guy. Get
him. I want him.
Everything Farhan's done up to this point, you could all of a sudden reverse engineer it and be like, look, he didn't want to, get us stuck with some big contract because he was waiting for the guy to become available, and Soto is the guy. All of these other teams that are in on Soto have massive, giant contract players. We don't. We could break the freaking bank for him.
I would pay.
He can have anything he wants. If they want it to be called Soto Cove, it's Soto Cove. We'll move some stuff around. We'll make it happen.
But you can't have the Willie Mays statue, though. Somebody said throw in the statue. No, you can't.
No. We're stopping there. But you can have access to Willie Mays anytime you want.
Yeah, exactly. He's still living, and he'll give you great advice. And
that would be so incredible. I mean, I'll tell you right now. I'd watch more Giants baseball if they had Juan Soto.
I know.
I think if you get creative, you can pull this off. If I'm Farhan, I'm saying, look, Mike, you need to rebuild. Lerner, get on the phone with Lerner. Lerner, what do you want? You want to sell your club? I'll take your crappy contracts. I'll take Strasburg off your hands. I'll take Patrick Corbin. So you don't have anything on your books. Take Soto, and I'll give you.
Maybe the Giants' sorry to interrupt you, but maybe the Giants' lack of spending is with this kind of a move in mind.
Maybe because if you can take those contracts on,
and they
could take those contracts on. And then you can give up a Ramos, a Bishop, and maybe a Bednar and hang on to Luciano and Harrison. If you can do that, if you can give up and take those horrible contracts.
I'm not even convinced that Luciano is going to be the guy. I personally would not. I'd be okay with moving Luciano.
I've seen him play.
I've seen him play
Arizona
too.
Fall League, and the potential, though, Larry, is off the charts.
He's got bat speed for sure, but I mean, look at him, Dan. He's not. His body is he's not going to be a shortstop. I don't buy that. I think he's a third baseman or a left fielder.
Right outfielder.
It's like that Family Guy thing where it's like, Peter Griffin gets the box or he can get a boat, and he's like put the mystery box. Who knows? It could even be a boat. It's like, who knows? Marco Luciano. He could maybe be Juan Soto. And it's just like, well, I'd rather just have Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm looking at Strasburg's contract because Danny's bringing up taking on other people's money. So let's take a look at exactly what it is. Okay, so Strasburg has signed a 7-year deal in 2020 that is for $245 million. So it's a real clear deal. It's $35 million a year every year through 2026. 80 million is deferred with 1% interest. So he's got that's his deal, but he's got a full no trade. He's got a full no trade clause. Now he is from San Diego State, so maybe come and God knows, this is the ballpark for pitchers, right?
Right.
So maybe he's he's already had Tommy John surgery, So now Corbin's deal is 6 years, 140.
He's got 2 years after this year, 23.
He's on the hook this year for 24, but then next year 23. Oh no, this year 23, next year 24, and 25. Then in 24 it's 35.
Yeah. So you took those crappy contracts off.
That's a ton, man.
It is.
That's $60 million plus over the next 2 years for Patrick Corbin.
If you don't have to give up some of your top prospects,
I would say it's one or the other, man.
That's what I'm saying.
It's one or the other.
I think it's one or the other. And if you gave
I would take Corbin. Who's doing better, right? Corbin's pitching. Strasburg isn't.
Correct.
And what's Corbin looking like this year?
He hasn't been doing well. He's been in the ERA, I think, is high over 5.
What's the issue?
4-12.
He's pitching horrible too.
Yeah.
What's his issue? Is the velo down?
Not sure, but he pitched well in Arizona. He pitched really good the first of the year they won the World Series.
He's not old. He's only 32.
Right. He could be turned
He's
around.
4-12 with a 5.87. Oh, that's shitty.
Yeah, he's led the league in losses last year, and he's leading the league in losses this year.
Maybe he just needs out of there. Needs a new.
Well, he's got to work. He's got a better ERA at home than on the road. He's 4.94 at home. He's 7.19 ERA on the road.
I don't think he would be that bad in Oracle, but anyway, I do think that.
Let's see. His numbers are getting better, though. If you look at his numbers, his ERA in April was 8.69. His ERA in May was 5.97. His ERA in June was 4.28. So that's coming down. I guess it's 5 in July. So
Strasburg's looking scary too. He has pitched in 8 games over the last 3 seasons.
Whoa, you guys hear that?
Yeah. Wow.
Man.
I didn't realize it was that bad. The last 3 seasons, he's pitched 8 games.
Have a monsoon coming.
James Foster says his slider is the issue, Larry.
Hey,
baseball and more says Larry. Bring on Farhan. We can try to get Farhan. We can get Farhan. Maybe this week we'll try for Farhan.
That would be awesome. I'd love to talk to Farhan and because I'll tell you, if you were to take on those contracts and not give up too much, you could maybe talk to the GM and say, hey, we have no guarantee that Soto's going to sign here if we're going to make this deal. I'm not giving you my top 4 or 5 prospects. And if Soto walks in 2 years, we've just shot everything. I either want to guarantee that he's going to, renegotiate with us right now and we'll sign him. You sign him to this deal and we'll make the deal and we'll give up the prospects because he's going to be here for 10 plus years, or we'll take some of your bad contracts and give you not our top 2 or 3 prospects. We'll give you 5, 6, and 9 or something like that.
Would you rather take on the money or the
I'd
prospects?
rather take on the money. I'd rather take on
the money too. I don't think I think their owners don't want to take on that money.
We've already proven that we can work on the margins. I don't care. We can bring in.
I'd rather take those bad contracts because those contracts go away after years. But if I was the Giants, I would want to sign Soto to 10 years, and I'd pay him $45 million a year.
I'd say 15.
Well, here's what I would do. Because
the only thing about it is, do you want to dangle the carrot a little bit, or do you? I mean, these big money deals. It's almost like you're de-incentivizing guys to stay in shape. You're taking away all of their motivation.
They're not going to sign anywhere, though. They're not going to sign with you. They'll walk and get it. They're going to get it one way or the other, though.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, would you like to try to maintain some level of motivation at all? Maybe there'll be something in there for winning. No,
I don't think it works that way with these guys anymore because they're driven by their agents. But see, I would give, instead of going 15, because you don't know what Soto's going to be like from age 34 to 39. I'd give him 10 years.
Yeah, but Dan, it's always he just got offered 15. Like it's always.
No, but listen to this contract, though. Listen to this. You give him 10 years at $45 million, so you're paying higher annual salary. You're giving him $450 for 10 instead of giving him 450 for 15, it says to him, look, you're still in your prime at 34, bang, and you can sign another 5-year, $40-50 million contract a year. Or then you can say at the end of 10 years, but we're going to give you a $600 million contract because we're going to give you $5 million deferred, like the Bobby Bonilla, $5 million deferred for 30 years. That's another 150. So the Giants spread out $5 million. $5 million a year is nothing to these guys 20 years from now, 10 years from now.
No, Danny, come on.
Nothing. No, I'm serious.
I mean, I'm open-minded to any kind of structuring of the deal. I don't think. See, here's the thing: when you're talking about a 23-year-old position player, you're really just gambling on his body and his professionalism. So, if you're convinced that his body won't break down, and I am, if you're convinced that he's a professional and will continue to be a professional and work hard and stay in shape, and that I have no idea about because I really don't know Juan Soto or his habits or his how he lives or anything like that, but I'm sure they do. That's really the factor. I mean, when you talk about a pitcher, it's a totally different deal. It's like, oh my God, how much mileage? How's his elbow? What kind of torque?
I just don't want anybody on
the fastball. How much does he lean on a particular breaking ball? I mean, there's just factors and factors. And I would never want to go. If I was Farhan, I would continue to run as fast as I could away from the Gaussman type deals and try to sign as many Rodon-like deals. Pay a little bit more, but pay it in the short term. Invest only short term in the pitching. And for me, I would feel totally different though about the position players, especially a guy like this, because if the Giants think about the way this year's gone so far, Giants been basically 500 club. Pretty sleepy. And you knew this year was going to be a backslide. You knew because they won 107 last year. If all that came out of this year was that they had another year to kind of let their prospects develop in the farm system and they got Juan Soto, that would be a good year. Even if they did not play one game in the playoffs, if they got Juan Soto as a foundation piece, as like the rock going forward, to me, that's been a successful year. Even if they don't go to the playoffs, I think he's that important. He's that pivotal. Don't you guys agree?
Anything short of winning the World Series, I'd rather just get Soto and miss the playoffs.
I saw the odds. There was a deal. I can't remember. I probably won't be able to find it now, but on Twitter, but it said that if the Giants got Soto, the odds of them making the playoffs went up like 91% or something.
No, I mean, that's stupid though.
I mean, here's the thing about it. I would love some kind of a combination deal where it was like, maybe it threw Lamont Wade and the guys I'd really like to, I'd probably want to move if I could. Luciano would be on the top of my list just because I don't want to move him, but I feel like you have to offer, if you're going to get a guy like Soto, the first thing you have to offer is your top prospect. I think there's just no doubt. So Luciano, I think, would have to be in the mix. Then I would offer Patrick Bailey. One, because they have a lot of catching. Seriously. Two, because Joey Bart is starting to, do it at the major league level, and Bailey's still, it looks like a couple years away.
You could do that, but they just got Kelbert Ruiz, the Dodgers' top catcher last year.
But I mean, they could always flip. They could always flip. Catching is valuable, and high level catching is valuable. So Bailey would be in my offer. I think I would have to offer Kyle Harrison, even though I wouldn't want to. I think Harrison would have to be in that deal. So now, if you've traded, Luciano and Harrison, then I would like to trade somebody at the major league level, like a Lamont Wade, who
definitely would be.
Day you get a guy like Soto, he's playing corner outfield every day for you, so you don't necessarily need late night Lamont. So that'd be another guy. And then after that, I'm kind of open-minded, really, as far as maybe two other players that aren't in your top 10 prospect-wise, that they like, Jairo Pomeroz or, whatever, maybe two or three guys in there.
It'd be interesting to get Ned on here to talk about what do you do in this situation do you hound a guy every day or do you back off and don't seem so desperate? I'd be curious because, if a guy like Soto comes up, it's like, I mean, you're talking like Kevin Durant coming up at 25, years old in his prime.
we were talking about Aaron Judge before. He's way more valuable than Aaron Judge. We were talking about, who was the other guy we were talking about in a trade?
We were talking about just
Josh
who would you want in the entire league. He's probably number one.
I mean, you just gave a couple of prospects for a rental on Chris Bryant. Now you're talking about taking over a player that has, who's far better, who's far younger, far healthier, and has far more control. So you're talking about a player that probably most teams in baseball could not even afford. And then when you mix in the prospect cost, then there's the contractual cost. And since he just turned down, what'd you say he turned down?
440, 450?
You better get ready to offer this guy, I would say, about a 15-year deal at about $30 million a year.
At least. I mean, he just turned that down, right? Isn't that what he just turned down? 15 years, or was it 13?
I didn't see the exact offer. He declined 13 for 350,
and then they bumped it up to 450 or 440, and he declined that. And I thought this would happen.
Is he declining? Why is he declining?
He wants out of Washington.
He wants out of Washington.
He wants out of Washington. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's an organization that is not really spending much money. They already spent a lot of money. Now they want to tear it down, and he probably wants to play in a big city. I mean, a big sports city, San Francisco, LA, New York. I'm imagining he wants.
I don't know that we've ever seen a player this good, this young, traded at this point. Have you? Can you think of anybody who's the best player, best young super mega star that we've ever seen traded?
Wow, who would that be in baseball or any sport?
I mean, we've seen guys like Sammy Sosa was traded from the White Sox
but he
to
wasn't
the Cubs.
That much at the time.
I mean, honestly,
he had tons of bat speed, but he had not become Sammy Sosa. But he was traded. He was traded, like before he was 25.
I don't know, James Harden? I can't really think.
I can't think of anybody who's been traded. I guess maybe Chris Webber.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe C-Web.
Chris Webber, but he got traded in a trade with Penny Hardaway.
How about Jabbar? How about Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, when he was Lou Alcindor, the Bucks to the Lakers?
To the Lakers. I mean, he was a 5-time MVP in the 70s or some crazy thing like that.
He was in his 20s at the time, though.
Yeah, maybe Jabbar
got traded at 22.
How old was the great one, Gretzky, when he went from Edmonton to the LA Kings?
I think he was late 20s or about 30.
I was going to say 30. Jaguayo 56 donates $5. Says, Krug, for whatever reason, we never signed big free agents. We lost out on players like Harper, Scherzer. The last superstar that we actually landed was Barry Bonds. Yeah, it's Jaguayo. There's no question. Sometimes I wonder if there's a way to do this to land a guy, and there's a way to do it so it looks like you're engaged, but darn well you're not going to land the guy. And I just think that
I hope they don't pull that stunt again.
I think the Giants on the Harper, I think they were wanted to be known as a stalking horse so they could look their fans in the eye and say, hey, man, we tried. But I don't think they really wanted to land him. That's my theory. And same thing with Giancarlo Stanton. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think so. This guy they should want to land because of his age. I mean, you're looking at he's 23 years old. Let me see when he turns 24. I'm curious.
He's just a total pure hitter. He's a lock.
He's 23 through the entire baseball season, so he'll turn 24 in the end of October.
How's he defensively in the outfield?
Let me check his stats here.
By the way, guys, this is another crazy one. If this was the 90s, this would be getting covered like crazy. But Aaron Judge, I just did the math after he hit 2 more home runs today. Guy's on pace for 60.75 home runs.
Oh, he's crushing. And the ball in that ballpark, Yankee Stadium is both massive and tiny. It's like a massive ballpark with tiny home run dimensions.
Yeah.
Have you seen how huge that ballpark really is and how small it plays? I mean, what a weird ballpark that is. I cannot see Aaron Judge leaving the Bronx. Can you? I can't see it. I know he's from Linden. I know he grew up near Fresno. I knew he was a Giants fan. That was a long time ago. He's now the absolute apple of the New York Yankee fans' eyes. He's coming off of an awesome year. There's no chance in hell he's jumping in free agency. They cannot let him walk. They can't.
The Giants need a star, though. When we talk about a star,
they do.
Let's look at this. The organization has had Willie Mays.
They chanted anybody's name in the bleachers. Yeah. Oh, besides mine.
This is a team. Yeah, this is a team that's had Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, Will Clark, Barry Bonds, Buster Posey. Now they are completely starless. And
Kevin Mitchell.
And you look at the Bay Area. The 49ers, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott, on and on, Steve Young.
KD may come back to the Warriors, and they are literally playing a block away, and you're competing against them for fans.
And you got Steph
and
Curry.
Sponsors.
And so we've had all these guys. This town needs a superstar. Listen to Juan Soto's stats after 5 years.
Are you talking about Mesa, Arizona? Or are you talking about San Francisco? Are you talking about Phoenix? Or are you talking about San Francisco?
Okay, here we go. Sure. Listen to this. The guy has 117 home runs, 452 base on balls, a 292 batting average, 427 on base percentage, 540 slugging, and a 968 OPS.
He's a natural. He's a natural hitter.
Gosh, I mean, and a 292 lifetime hitter. Can you imagine him spraying the ball in this big yard?
Oh, I mean, he would be the foundation piece. Do you know how many? Do you know how many Soto jerseys there would be in the Bay Area?
Right. You got to pull this up.
Okay.
Earlier this year, on a Friday night game, pull up the highlights. He hit a home run.
I can't do it, Dan.
Oh, I got to show it on my phone then. You wouldn't believe this home run.
Don't get us demonetized.
He stepped out of the box. He was calling time out, and he wasn't even in the box, and the pitch came in, and he just took a check swing, and he hit it out of the park.
I saw it. Right. Was it left field?
Left field. Unbelievable. Just go check out. We can't show that
here's the thing, and this is another thing to remember. Are you going to trade all those prospects? Are you going to pay all that salary? And Nick J brings up Soto would need protection in the lineup, or he'd be simply getting a ton of walks. What would you say to counter Nick J? I mean, it's almost like if you go after Soto, you better go after somebody else too, because somebody's got to cover him.
You got
You
got Austin Wins. You got Wins.
Austin Wins.
That's
true.
He's the DH behind Soto.
I stand corrected.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
I stand corrected. They have Austin Wins.
Hey, also, if we're talking monster home runs, did you guys see Leandro Cedino, the slugger he's a first baseman. I think he's in Double-A for the Diamondbacks. He's hitting 303 with 18 home runs this year. He hit a 527-foot home run.
I saw that. My goodness.
What?
520.
Where? Center? Left? What is he?
Here, I can play the sound of it.
3-0. High fly ball to center field. That is way out of here into center.
Oh, that's awful call. You could do better than that.
That was horrible.
Who was that? That was no Dan Coccimilgio.
That's a 527. You got to be jumping out of your seat, out of the booth, and into the stands.
He's wearing like a Christmas sweater. I don't really.
Come on.
James Foster says Darren Ruff, Darren Ruff, can hit behind him. LOL. You had to drop the LOL. Okay. MF, reading my mind, says trade for Jake McCarthy and Pavin Smith. Damn you, MF. Don't you mock me. I don't know. It's so enticing that it's like makes you sit there and go, wait a second. Could this really happen? But the Giants are ideally positioned to make it happen. There's literally, if they announced the trade in two parts, right? If they announced the trade, think about this for a second. If they announced the trade to a packed stadium, and they announced what the Giants were getting in one half of the inning, and they're going to announce in the bottom half what they're trading. If they said, and the Giants have traded for Juan Soto, people would just go crazy. And if the next half inning they announced anybody, people would be like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, seriously, you could have a lifetime supply of foam fingers. It would be like, yeah, all right. Juan Soto now owns 1/3 of the franchise. All right, that seems like a fair deal. It's like 9 prospects, and it's Luciano, Kyle Harrison, and Luis Matos to start 1, 2, and 3. All right. Well, price of doing business. I mean, seriously, we're at that point where if you announce Soto, you could announce any package going back, and people would still be happy with it. Would you agree?
You know what? Honestly, this was not a trade, but maybe the most similar one I just thought of was maybe A-Rod to the Rangers. I mean, it was free agency, but I mean, he went there when he was
$252 million. Yeah, he was young. He was relatively young.
I mean, from 18 to 24.
Bonds came to the Giants. How old was Bonds? 29.
He was like 29.
I think he was younger than that.
A-Rod. Listen to how insane A-Rod is. A-Rod at 24 years old, signing with the Rangers, was hitting 309 with 189 home runs career already.
Yeah.
That's insanity. Jesus.
Trade for Jake McCarthy and Pavin Smith. Not bad, but it doesn't move the needle.
Yeah. It's on a slightly different level.
We're talking Juan Soto here. We're talking Juan Soto.
Now, let's look at this for a second. I think this is kind of interesting. How many teams in baseball have this? The Giants' payroll this year is, I'm looking at it, opening day payroll, 155. 155 this year. Last year it was 149. We'll throw out 2020 because it was the finances were all screwed up. 2019, their payroll was higher. 2019, they had a $15 million payroll increase on what they're spending this year. They spent 170. 2018, they spent $200 million, $45 million more than what they're spending this year in 2018. 2017, they spent $180 million. Significantly more. 2016, $172 million. Significantly more. You got to go back to 2014, the last time the Giants have spent under what they're spending this year.
Wow.
So they have, unless their other payrolls were all based on nothing, they should have payroll room to take on this kind of player. They really should.
Oh, yeah. And here's the deal he turned down. 15-year, $440. Earlier, he turned down 13-year, $350. So they added 2 years and $90 million, and he rejected it. And I remember saying that because I think this is a smart move by the Nationals.
What do you think the Giants are worth right now as a team?
As to
sale, what would they go for in a sale if they were sold?
$3 billion,
$4.5 billion,
$4.5 billion. Peter McGowan bought them with a group in 1993, late 1992 for $100 million.
It might even go more than that.
$100 million in 1992. Purchased the club for $100 million. You're saying it's worth $4 billion?
That was my guess.
I'm thinking it's going to be close to that or more.
Actually, Forbes magazine valued the Giants at $3.5 billion as recently as March of this year.
Yeah, but if you throw in that, if it's just the Giants, or do they get the Mission? Because the Giants own the Mission Rock land.
They also they own their ballpark.
They'd also get that, but usually you can tack on an extra bill.
So let's say they're worth roughly $4 billion, maybe closer to if they owned it for a few more years, $5 billion. They bought it for $100 million. They're doing great. They can afford Juan Soto.
Juan.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, just remember, everybody who's listening to this conversation from any sports talk show host in the next 3 weeks or month between now and the deadline, and they start talking about, oh, but look how much money it is. Remember those numbers. Forbes says they're worth about $4 billion, and they bought them in 92 for $100 million.
They could actually start marketing.
Danny, would you say that's a decent profit?
I would, yeah. That's kind of a little bit lower than some of my clients what I've done for my clients, but not bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad. So before we sit there and go, they can't afford these players. Just remember, 100 million, 4 billion. And that was 1992. So 2002 would be a decade. 12. We're 30 years old. In 30 years, they've gone from 100 million to 4 billion.
Unbelievable.
Not a bad ROI.
Yeah. I mean, so very interesting times for sure for the Giants.
I'm pulling for Soto now in the.
Hey Dan, what's
everybody should be.
What's I don't know if Nick's joking or not, but what's the number for securemoney.com?
It's 925.
All right, I'm put it in the chat. 925
628
628.
We all should know this number by now.
9966.
9966. Secure money on the web. There we go.
Nick J says, Dan, need the number. I need my money to work for me.
There we go.
There you go. Nick J, Danny will pull a couple strings and you will be retiring on Monday. No.
and you'll be part of the Juan Soto package. You'll be on the scoreboard.
Too bad the Giants can't throw in like prospects that have already failed from previous generations. We'll trade you Angel Villalona, Jerome Williams,
and Shane Lowry.
Jesse Foppert. We'll throw in Jesse Foppert.
Hey, these are all top prospects.
Kurt Ainsworth. All right. You're getting Ainsworth, Jerome Williams, Jesse Foppert, who was the number one prospect in all of Baseball America one year.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And Gary Brown. We'll toss you a little Gary Brown. I still have a lot of hope that Gary Brown can do it. Yeah, look at Big Wheeze down here.
He's Von Brown.
Von Brown, yeah. We will not. Could you imagine if Farhan got on the radio and was like, "Hey, we had a deal working for Juan Soto, but guys, they wanted Von Brown, and I am not going to go there." Okay, it's a good-looking young player with a lot of talent. I mean, seriously, right?
Could be a weight trainer. Could do.
The host on the other end would be like, "Oh, really? Well, that's probably right. That's probably smart." Instead of being, "What the fuck? What? You won't trade for Von Brown? You idiot! You moron! What the hell is wrong with you? Trade him! What are you thinking?" The host would be like, "Oh," kind of give the high eye. "Oh. Yeah,
never thought about it that way."
So he never, hadn't really looked at Von Brown that way. But I guess I'm gonna have to look at him a little closer. It's like, let's just totally suck up to Farhan.
Oh, man.
I think that's wise. I think it's wise. And what this guy says, baseball and more, says, Larry, we can throw draft picks now because of that CBA. I think you can trade competitive balance draft picks.
Balance, yeah.
Those are a few. Yeah, I'd pay. Hey,
you can have the next 10.
Yeah, seriously.
We haven't hit one yet, so you can have the next 10.
Seriously, you can be my fucking farm director. Yeah, I could really, at this point, I'm not worried. Basically anything that you said no to would be like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? We're not going to trade Christian Arroyo.
Yes. I mean, if the Giants can really get this done, and I think they could if they wanted to, that's going to be the key. Do they want to?
They should want to.
Of course they want to.
No, do they want to at any cost, though? I mean, do they want to say, no, we're not letting go? We're not letting go of Luciano.
Do you really think they're tied to their prospects that much?
I get a feeling that they are to some. I don't think they. I think they
this guy essentially is a prospect. He's 23.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like, oh man, we screwed up. We traded our future and we got Juan Soto. He's 23. He is your future.
Joey Bart.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
he's younger than Joey Bart, right? No,
you could trade your top 5 prospects and maybe get younger.
I think it's a situation of they would be willing to do it, but there is a stopping point if they ask for too much. I can't see them going.
Who is the guy that if you had to guess, who's the guy that makes them go, hey, come on, not that guy?
Harrison.
You think it's Harrison?
I think it's Harrison or Luciano.
But, I mean, you got to pay to play, right? I mean, to me, Harrison and Luciano are no doubters. I mean, those guys have to be in the deal.
I mean, I think they would be willing to do it. But if they say, we want Harrison, Luciano, Matos, Ramos, Bednar, and
that's a lot.
Yeah, if they go too many of their, if they go like 5 of their, if they go with their top 5 prospects,
I'm not moving Merquin Valdez. All right, baseball and more. Larry, you remember Merquin Valdez? Perfect example. A next Tim Lincecum. He's the next Tim Lincecum, and then nothing happened. Yeah, there was a time the Giants refused to trade Salomon Torres.
Oh, exactly.
For El Presidente in 1993. Right,
he ended up getting traded for Sean Estes, though, right?
He did. He got traded for Estes after the bloom was off the rose. But at that point, he was like the star of the Giants system, and they could have had Dennis Martinez in 1993 for Salomon Torres. From what I was told, they said no. They wind up going 17-4 in the final 21 to pull even with the Dodgers going into the final day of the season. And
he pitches on the final day.
All 4 losses. Salomon Torres starts.
Yeah.
They won every non-Torres start in their final 21 games. And they could have traded the guy for Dennis Martinez.
El Presidente, yeah. Unbelievable.
Just keep Frankie Tostado.
I'm not I'm willing to let a lot of even good top prospects go for a guy like so. He's a generational talent, and I almost, that's why I say if they really, really want him, it will show in what this package
Baseball
is.
More says Hunter Bishop is a Boris client. Would you trade Hunter Bishop? He's having a nice little year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hell yes. Trading Hunter Bishop.
Absolutely. And Joey.
I'll trade the Bishop. Too. I'll trade the Rook. I'll trade the King. I'll trade the Queen. I'll trade it all. Yeah. I'll trade all the pawns. I mean, you name it. You can have the Bishop.
Who would you guys rather trade between? Who would you be the most afraid to give up between Harrison, Luciano, and wait for it, Joey Bart?
I'm not worried about trading. I'm not worried about trading Luciano. I'm just not. I know the bat speed's awesome, but I don't think you're looking at a shortstop. I think you're looking at a third baseman. And
what if that was all it was? Those 3 guys for Soto.
I mean, then you do it.
I don't love trading Bart right now for sure.
No, but
I mean,
I think all 3 of those guys, if that was,
the guy that I really love based on what I've seen is Matos. That's the guy that I really like. And I think there's something special to Bednar as well. But Harrison worries me because there's a little bit more. He's not Madison Bumgarner. He doesn't. He throws harder, but there's way more torque, and it reminds me more of Chris Sale. And if you notice with Chris Sale, what Chris Sale has injuries.
Yeah.
So Harrison, I would move because of the injury factor. Luciano, I would move because of the bust factor. And once you're willing to move those 2 guys, it's like everybody else is just like, you know what I mean? I would almost, if I had to go 1-2, I would want to make the deal Harrison and Luciano, and then like secondary guys, Wade or, Grant McCray or just, guys who are further down the list.
Have you seen this baseball values thing that Jeff Passan he put out kind of like about here's the trade, how they kind of match up the numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's one.
They give each prospect a grade. So what's the?
Here's one that they did.
And they try to match the numbers, right?
Here's one that they did with Jeff Passan did with the Dodgers.
Yeah, I saw it.
Their prospect Katera, the catcher, he's worth
Cartaya, the catchers, Diego
Lux,
Cartaya,
Dustin May, Bobby
Dustin
Miller,
May, who's hurt, Bobby
Stone,
Miller's
and
stud.
Vargos. They equal 198.6 total value. Dodgers get Juan Soto at 193.7 total value.
Yeah,
so it's,
I mean, I like
1,
that
2,
deal
3,
from
4,
LA's
5, 6.
perspective. May's been hurt. Lux is a good hitter, but is he I don't know if he's a superstar. He's a good hitting second baseman. Is he a great fielder? He's a pretty good athlete. He's got a lot of bat speed. He's a pretty good offensive player.
Some guys have like really
Cartaya
high negative. Like Strasburg and Corbin, they're like negative 100 or something.
Yeah, because they cost a lot.
Yeah.
So what do the Giants have any collection of prospects that would add to the same number as Soto? Do you see that anywhere?
Well, the one tweet you put out today, I saw it earlier, and somebody responded. Let me see, and the numbers were still
the numbers were really bad. They
were like 104.
They were definitely in the Giants' favor. Romo 2001. How do the Giants explain to the fan base if the Dodgers get Soto? The Giants are better financially and prospect wise than the Dodgers. And we're talking about a generational type player. Yeah, it's just a matter of how, the one thing you can say, though, is that look at Rizzo on the other side of the things. He's looking at the Giant farm system, and what does he see? Failure, 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 failure. He's looking at the Dodger farm system, and what's he seeing? Rookies of the year, guys who are, Seager and Bellinger and all these guys. They have their prospects have produced. The Giants prospects have not. So I'll say this: just on that alone, I would want if I'm Mike Rizzo, I need a significantly higher rated Giant prospect package coming back to me than what I'm getting from the Dodgers to account for all the failure and all the success. The Giants have been failure ridden. The Dodgers prospects have been largely successful. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say that I think when I look at your deal was Soto was and Robles, 194.5 value, and the Giants added up to 104. That was Bailey, Bishop, Harrison, Luciano Reckley, and Will Wilson, because the only ones that had value were Luciano and Harrison. So you might have to bring that up. You'd probably have to get Matos and Bednar in there or something like that. Or you take on the bad contracts.
Well, what if you traded somebody who's no longer a prospect, like a Camilo Doval? I mean, I think Camilo Doval could have a lot of value, don't you?
How do you find that value? Where do you go to?
I was looking for it for a few minutes. I didn't see it either, Danny, so I kind of quit on it. But I have a note to myself to kind of go back and see if I could put together a Giant trade that where the numbers equaled out.
If you go to Jeff Passan's and look at him, he's got a link, I think, to the baseball algorithms or whatever it is. Jeff Passan. Let me see here. Here we go. I can, here it is. It's called Baseball Values. Baseball Trade Values is, I'm going to hit follow there. Okay. So maybe you could figure something out there. I
don't think it's like the be all end all. I think he probably just writes that as a like the same way like Bill Simmons does his NBA.
Well, they kind of do.
How about
that,
numbers?
Though.
How many? Is there a number of players that you would cap it at?
40.
No, but seriously, I mean, what's the most number of players that you would feel comfortable? Most number of prospects. If it just came right down to it, obviously, if they're all low-level guys, you could trade 50 of them. But let's just say they were all your top 30 prospects. How many of your top 30 would you be willing to give for Juan Soto? I'd probably be willing to give like 8.
7, 8. Yeah, right in there. 7.
Like 8 players.
Yeah,
that's what I would be willing to give. Especially when think of it this way. You just traded for Chris Bryant. You got him for a month or whatever. You traded Caleb Killian. Is Caleb Killian up yet with the Cubbies?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing very well.
How's he doing? And then Alexander Canario. Canario's got big-time bat speed, but he's not up. So, it's like prospects are just that, prospects.
Exactly. I'd probably go 9 or 10, to be honest. If we looked at their prospects since 2014.
I don't know if I'd want to go 1 through 9, but I hear you. You know, I don't know if I'd want to give my
No,
top
I'm not
9.
saying 1 through 9, but I might give you top 3
4
and then
or something like that.
top
And
3,
maybe
top 4, and then I'd go down to like 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, something like that.
By the way, did you see Harrison got rocked in the Futures game?
No, I didn't. It was on
dang it.
Peacock, and it's on MLB Network in the morning. I'm going to tape it in the morning.
He got rocked. What did he do?
I think he went like third of an inning here. Oh, I just had the box score is really hard to find. Shoot, I just had it. Yeah, he allowed a home run. One sec, I'll pull it up again. Futures.
I mean, the guy throws 97, 98. He's got a nasty breaking ball, and obviously he's a lefty with a funky angle. And there's no doubt that he's got the pedigree. But it's not a sure thing. It's not
Right.
he's not Sandy Koufax.
Okay, so he got one hitter out.
It's not Roger Clemens.
Allowed 2 hits, 4 runs, 1 earned.
Must have walked a couple guys.
Or no. He had 2 strikeouts. Okay, yeah,
Walked 1.
It's 2
He had
allowed
2 home runs.
2 home runs. Yeah.
Yee.
And as far as this, I don't know what this is. This is
Bobby
some
Miller for the Dodgers gave up a run in his 1 inning too. I'm looking
That's
at
better
it.
than Hader.
I mean, look at that.
Hader
He's like,
gave up 3.
yeah, I don't.
Hey, did you see Hunter Pence down there in the softball deal?
Was he repping Giants?
Well, they all had to wear Brooklyn shirts, Dodger shirts, and he hit a home run. And he walked around, and he had a Giant shirt underneath.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
Jesus Christ!
I love Hunter Pence.
Yeah,
Look at this. So the 3 hits that he allowed were 116 miles per hour, 108 miles per hour, and a 98. That was an error.
That's off the bat. That wasn't what he was throwing.
Yeah, that's
Can you imagine he was throwing 116.
still
Maybe keep him. He was throwing 116. Nick J says Langoliers, who the A's just got, the catcher, won the game, was the MVP of the game. He says A's deal him by Friday. But you know what? The A's won't deal him by Friday. But if you wanted Sean Murphy, this kid right here, Langoliers, is the reason that Murphy maybe had.
Oh, they've got 2 catchers. They got 2 in the top 40.
I mean, if you like Murphy, Sean Murphy calls a good game. He's young. He's got power. I mean, that I would go that direction. If you, I wouldn't mind adding. I don't want to trade Joey Bart now that I see Bart's power, but I wouldn't mind Murphy and Bart.
Yeah, and what the hell with the A's? They also had they let that kid go to the Rangers. That's a stud, like the 6'4" catcher that just mashes. I forget his name. Rangers catcher. Look it up. But was it?
Let's do this. Let's pay the bills. We'll come back with some final thoughts next as we keep it rolling on a Saturday night on The Krueg Show. Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Dan Coccimilgio and all the people at Secure Money for being And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com, often imitated, never equaled. And they are
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show. Larry Krueger, Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio. I'm watching on the tube here, Sacramento, the River Cats losing to Albuquerque 4-1 in the seventh. Izon Diaz has just grounded out to first base. Willie Calhoun was up earlier in the inning. Willie Calhoun is definitely a little portly. Definitely, he's a thick wasted guy for sure. He used to be a second baseman, but now it looks like he might be a left fielder.
On the scale of 1 to Dan's sweatshirt, how thick?
How thick? Well, he's kind of your mean Mercedes.
Okay.
Your mean Mercedes. Kind of a wider body Mercedes.
A wide body Benz.
Wow.
Yeah, it's more of a 700 series instead of the 500 series. If you know your Mercedeses, no, but Calhoun did have one hit earlier tonight, so he's a pretty good hitter. Nick J says, thanks, Larry, Dan, Ryan, for the show. I fill my day listening to some KMBR, watching the game on YouTube, and then capping off the day with the Krueg Show. Keep it going. Nick J, we got to get you to switch from my old home, KMBR, to 95.7 The Game, my new home. So, Nick, hopefully we'll see you over there in the days and weeks ahead. In fact, Monday through Friday this week, you can catch me on 95.7 The Game in afternoon drive with my good friend Damon Bruce from 3 to 6 p.m. And I believe Steve Young will be joining us this week. So looking forward to that for sure. Quite a bit of good stuff over there. So check us out 3 to 6 Monday through Friday with Damon this week on 95.7 The Game. Guys, final thoughts here. Giants, interesting ball game for sure. It was good to see them get a win. It felt kind of fortunate. But you know what? This is baseball where they say, hey, you play 162. You're going to win 50. You're going to lose 50. It's what do you do with those other 62? I kind of feel like this is kind of one of the ones that, you win, right? Somehow, some way you won this game. It almost felt predetermined. I felt like the Giants got a real break on that balk, but they also pitched really well today. Give me your thoughts on the game.
I think I just love as much as I don't want to get all Disney on this thing, but I feel like the team is really showing that was a moment when Rodon's game was a moment, and it felt like a line in the sand saying we don't want to sell. we don't want to sell. We still think we can compete. And the guys, everybody seemed to lock in after that. And I mean, again, our only 2 losses were 2 one-run losses. That we are now 6 out of our last 8.
Be great to go in tomorrow and win it.
Exactly what we need going into the break. And this is I don't think there's many more teams out there that need this like little mini rest than our old dudes. So
we got our co-ace going tomorrow. 74% chance, according to ESPN, of a victory. Hopefully, that would be a nice way to cap off the so-called first half. Is go beat a good team 3 straight. My lineup for tomorrow. I did my lineup yesterday. Here's my lineup for tomorrow. Now, I know this isn't going to be the lineup because Gabe's going to lead off Wade, and I wouldn't, but this is what I would do. I put Gonzalez batting first in right field, and then go with Jock in left field.
Dan, can you give me a second? It's very important. I get this. Never mind. Just go.
So I got Gonzalez leading off because I think he's a catalyst. He's not been hitting this week, but show the guys some confidence. Put him up at first. Put him up right at the top.
But what position?
Left field or right field. Right field.
Okay.
Right field.
Who hold?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Did I mess up? Yes, I did. Okay. So I've got Gonzalez in right, and then I'm going to go Jock in left, and then Yaz in center.
Okay.
Belt, DH, fourth.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Flores at second base, batting fifth.
This is a juicy lineup.
Estrada, shortstop, sixth. VR, third base, seventh. I put Longo back on the bench. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to put Wade eighth, so we don't have lefty. If there's so I'll put Wade at first base, batting eighth, and Bart catching ninth.
Okay, I like that lineup.
Facing the right-hander.
Okay, one great one in here in the chat. Here we go. Romo 2001. Pasquale would offer all the chorizo in his inventory to sign Juan Soto.
Yeah.
What was that? Romo. He also made a point that he said he didn't think because of our farm system that we wouldn't be able to make the deal because of my chicken ass or whatever it was. What was that comment he made? My making fun of my storage food. I mean, it's storage food, okay, guys?
I don't know if you can define refrigerated
storage food. What the hell's storage food? Is this either food that you eat or food that you don't?
It's food that if there's a food shortage, you got to have some backup. You got to eat something. So you eat the crap if you have to. How
about just a lot of that cereal? Couldn't you get like a couple boxes of that cereal?
Yeah, I have some of that too. But that stuff, you got to rotate.
Mix it up. You got to mix it up.
Mix it up because of rotation. I got some of that 25-year food too from Costco. Got to have some of that. I mean,
hey, how about this, guys? What we got predictions for how things turn out in the Open?
The golf. I picked yesterday.
Cam Smith.
I went with McIlroy. Remember?
Oh yeah, you went Rory.
Who did I go with yesterday?
I think you said Scheffler.
Yeah, I like Scheffler. How did he do today?
He's still within striking. I think he's 5 shots back.
Who'd you go with, Ryan?
Who did I go with? Did I go Cam Smith?
So you went Cam Young, no?
No, I wouldn't have done. I think I went Cam Smith. I can't remember though.
You guys got a winner? You guys got a winning baseball bet for tomorrow before we say goodbye?
I was going to say
this is what I'm going with. I like a 2-teamer tomorrow.
Okay, let's hear
it. My 2-teamer. I'm going Jake Odorizzi and the Astros at home over the A's. Love that one. And then I'm coming back with where was my other matchup that I really liked? The Mariners are the hottest team in the game right now.
Oh no, 13.
They've won like 13 in a row. But I'm gonna go Astros over A's, one side of the parlay. And the other side of the parlay, I am going to go with the Mets The Mets and David Peterson, the lefty, against the Cubbies at Wrigley. Give me the Mets. Give me the Mets Astros on Sunday.
Okay,
two-teamer. What do you guys got tomorrow?
Who's your two-teamer, Ryan? Or you want me to go?
Two-teamer.
This is my two-teamer. I'm going with the Giants minus 0.5 to win. So essentially, Giants to win the first 5 innings, guarantee that Webb's in there, and then I'm going to parlay that with the. I'm going to parlay that with the Yankees. Yankees are freaking rolling.
Yeah,
I'll take on the Red Sox, and I'll take the minus 1.5 too for a little extra loving.
So everybody's got to pick different teams, then, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually going to put that bet in right now.
I'm not going to touch the Giants because I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to take the Blue Jays.
Idiot! No, sorry.
Over the Royals.
Okay. Jose Barrios against Chris Bubich.
Boobs.
And I am going to follow that up.
You can go with the Braves of Spencer Strider and his handlebar mustache against the Nationals.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that too. Yeah, Spencer Strider's pretty nasty.
Yeah, you took the Astros, right? Yeah,
I took Astros over A's, and then I took Mets over Cubs at Wrigley.
Okay, Rockies at home against the Pirates. I think I might do that. I think I'm going to go with what you suggested there. The Braves over the Nationals. The Braves are 19 over 500. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take the Braves. And what was the other one I took? Who did I take?
You took
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, yeah, you took Toronto.
Speaking of Blue Jays, real quick, I know we're about ready to wrap up here. What do you guys think? I mean, they fired their manager this week because they were underperforming.
There's got to be a story there.
I don't know. I mean, you look at the managers that have been
Montoya.
fired this year.
They're in the playoffs if the season ended today,
right? But they were losing, and they got overtaken by Boston, and then Baltimore was nipping right at them for the final wild card spot, and they just felt. And he got an extension in April.
I know, bizarre.
So
What a weird franchise.
When I was thinking that, I was thinking, man, would the Giants ever have enough guts to do anything like that? You know,
No.
if they were falling
Look
apart.
at Danny wishing Gabe fired.
No. I was ready after Thursday last night before that comeback in the ninth. I was like ready to come on the show.
It's bad karma to fire somebody, Danny.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to fire him.
You're fine.
Be careful. Be careful when you step off a curb in Phoenix. You don't get hit by a bus.
Yeah.
He put the hex in Kapler.
I want to see the Giants do well. I want, my dream is, as always, is that I want them. I'm going to pull for them until they're out of it, and I'm going to believe that they can win the World Series because
don't stop believing.
Yep, don't stop believing. You want me to start singing
come up
that
with
now?
a song like that? Maybe play it in the 8th.
Yeah, maybe they should. I should come up with that.
Yeah, and Dan should sing it.
Yes.
Oh, I would do anything.
You guys want to see me sing here?
Yes.
Pull up some lyrics. I'll do something. I'm ready to sing tonight.
You ready to sing tonight?
Woo!
Yeah, I'll close this out with a song. What do you got?
Can you give us some lyrics to "Don't Stop Believing," or just can you give us how about this? How about the instrumental for "Don't Stop Believing"? Since we know
the lyrics, so put them up.
Danny will do the lyrics.
Oh, here we go. This might get us demonetized, but it's worth it.
Oh, just the lyrics? No,
we're not covering the draft tomorrow. No, I will be watching it.
We can't get the sound.
Yeah, we get the sound.
Here we go.
No, do we got the singing too?
Yeah,
or just
maybe.
Hold on.
You better not fuck this up,
Danny. You better not.
Hold on. Let me.
Don't stop believing karaoke.
All right,
Here we go.
I'll get you in the mode.
No. Wait. Let me
Took the midnight train going anywhere. Small town girl, born and raised in South Detroit, something like that. Took the midnight train going anywhere.
Yeah, just
a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit.
Oh boy!
Took the midnight train going anywhere. Dustin the Gale, do you guys think the Giants made the right move in 2011 trading Zach Wheeler to rent Carlos Beltran? No. And you know why that was not the right trade at the time? Because Buster Posey was already out for the year, and Buster Posey is the key ingredient to the Giants championships. That was a stupid trade. That really was. And the Giants overachieved for a month after that trade and then fell apart. So no, bad. That was a stupid trade. They never should have made that trade. They felt this pressure to defend their title, but Posey had already been Scott Cousined, and he was already done for the year. So that was a stupid trade.
Totally agree. And yeah, man, it would be really cool if we had Lincecum, Wheeler, Bumgarner, all those boys. All right, here we go, Danny. You ready? Are you ready, Dan?
Dan, are you even there?
Dan, are you there?
Hold on. I got to hear the tune myself first. Hold on, let me get ready.
I'm going to play it, Dan.
We haven't even played it yet.
Music, there's going to be lyrics.
Danny, just look at your screen, all right? Securemoney.com on the web, everybody.
What's going on here, Dan? Nothing like some dead air.
Normally, I would fill this time by giving you an idea of who I think the Giants ought to draft tomorrow.
I got to get myself ready.
Dan,
You're ready.
You're ready. Come on.
God damn it.
All right, we're going.
Okay.
Dan, look at the screen. The words on the screen.
Look at Danny's face right now. Here we go. Sing, Dan.
Hold on.
Living in a lonely world. Well, God damn it, Danny.
What's going on?
He's just pretending like he's singing and then playing the actual song.
Oh, stop,
Dan. That is
Dan.
not worth the demonetization. All right, you're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, come on.
Mute.
What the hell? Wow.
Bunch of crap.
What a dud.
Seriously.
All right. Well,
I don't care about Faith or Buster today. You're not getting back on. That's it.
No. Well, let's end it with let's end it on this.
Get fired up here. Let's go. Who wants to be up? Yeah! I want to be on the Larry Krueger show. All right. Let's go, Giants. All right, we're out here in the bleachers for the Larry Krueger show. Larry Krueger. Yeah, we're gonna be on YouTube right now tonight. All right. Okay. When I say Larry, you say Krueger. Larry. Krueger. Larry. Krueger. Larry. Krueger. All right.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Careful, whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah.